a lot of those countries, they went full throttle with the skin-based caste system, using the military strength of Europe in order to enforce it. But that was what the Catholic Church called it, the white man's burden. It's popularized by a play by a guy named, I mean, a poem by a guy named Rudyard Kipling. And the white man's burden was the Christian's commission to go out under the doctrine of discovery and claim foreign lands of non-Christian peoples that they refer to as pagans. All pagan mean is that you are from Pangea. You one of the original children of the great Pan or globe, Africa, or Ifrak, which was the totality of the landmass. They be telling us we are from Africa. No, we not. We from over here, Africans from Africa, Indians from India. But they scramble the egg up by giving us this misleading and confusing information, so we don't know who we is, why we here, and what we doing. And as long as you don't know that, they're gonna keep you trapped. The world is under the Roman rule. America is a continuation of the Roman Empire because the Catholic Church is the Roman Empire. It just went from under the pretense of being the Roman state to being the Roman Church. The church is now the what they call a theocracy of the Roman Empire that was initiated under Emperor Constantine. uh, um, this is not comedy, brother. This is the real deal. Kenny
Yeah,
D.
what happened?
Somebody, Kenny D say, is this freestyle for real or some type of comedy?
Nah, see, some of them never heard of it. So when you never heard of information like this, you really think it's just crazy talk, you know? Because a lot
Yeah,
of them is caught up in the mundane stuff. They don't know about this stuff here.
yeah. Africa
So I
wasn't
left.
named Africa until after the Berlin Conference when they divided the land up, and it was named after a Arabic term, Ifraka, which means the divided up of the land. That was done under the Berlin Conference. The original Romans were called Etruscans, and they was they migrated or got exiled out of Africa and crossed the Iberian Peninsula and settled Rome. Greece was settled by Egyptian priests who were also melanated.
Yeah, you talking about Sisu Rose? Sisu
Now,
Rose is the
Cicero
man.
went into the
He carved up
Congo.
Africa. Yeah.
He went in. He went into the Rhodes Scholarship Plan. That was a plan to take over the Congo.
Mm-hmm.
He was under King Leopold. King Leopold is the one who was holding the Berlin Conference. If I'm not mistaken, I have to go back and double check that. I ain't sure on that one.
Right. But when I left off, I left talking about the blacks in Rome. So you was dealing with the whites in Rome first.
Yeah, because they whitewashed all of the original emperors. If some of them, if you read their history, they tell you they came from Ethiopia,
Right.
right? They're telling you they was an Ethiopian Roman. That's the emperor. That's Ethiopia. Greek is Aethiops. They mean burnt face. So they had a burnt face person or a dark faced person that sat as the emperor over Rome. But then when they paint the picture of them, they Europeanize the picture in order to enforce the caste system by skin color. They want you to think all of the great people in the past was pale face.
How come nobody never talk about? I never heard none of y'all. No, none of y'all talk about the um, the Colosseums that they had in Africa. I always hear about the ones in Rome, but I don't hear about the ones that was in Africa.
I don't really deal with a lot of what's going on in Africa because I know we got Ibrahim Traore and them over there doing their thing. So I don't worry about Africa right now. I worry about where I'm from. Right. So I only bring up the history over there when it's directly weighing in on what's taking place over here. Right. The African Colosseums have no bearing on the invasion of the Americas. So I probably wasn't gonna never bring that up. Right. But at the same time, if it was a historical figure from taken from over here to fight in that African Coliseum, and then I might have to address that issue. Then I might be bringing it up. But other than that, I'm focused on what we call the reclamation of our homeland. Right. So that's why you probably won't hear me bring up the African Coliseums. You on mute, sir.
What emperors of our people? What roles did black individuals play in ancient Rome society?
They were statesmen, they were law writers, they were the people that was teaching the people that they would later prop up as emperors how to be the emperor, how to play the part, how to look the part, how to act the part. They call it the civilizing of Europe. I know you've heard it 1,000 times. We civilized Europe. That's what they talking about. The creation of the Roman Empire. The Roman Empire conquered Greece, and then they used what they could from Greece, and they were a scholarly, artistic people, and they gave it to a warmongering group, right? So you got to go back to the story of Romulus and Remus, suckled from a wolf, right? So one of them was a scholar, and his brother was a warrior who he named Rome after. So they telling you what's taking place in what we call legend and folklore.
All right. Family, y'all ready for some questions? Y'all ready to come in? And remember, questions, man. Not debates, questions, y'all. Let's get I'm gonna let y'all engage with the brother with some of these questions. All right. So without any further ado, the link is in the chat. If y'all wish to come in and ask a question, feel free. Okay, yeah. So yeah, we can keep going till we get some people to come in and we
Mm-hmm.
talk about this.
What else
What
you
is
got on
the
the list?
biggest secret? What is the biggest secret you know of? Because it's not a secret to you. But what is America holding back from us? It's a secret that America's holding back. What would you say that is?
That secret is who we are.
Uh-oh. And who are we, brother?
We are the organic original inhabitants of the Turtle Island. And as long as that's kept secret, we don't pronounce it to the public. We don't reclaim what's ours. But as soon as we tell the people who we are and that we came to reclaim what's rightfully ours, now it's no longer a secret. It's an activating event.
You don't think the Moors and the ancient Moors and the ancient Hebrews back then are the same people? They just migrated and went different places. You don't think that they're the same?
No,
Oh, okay. Hmm. What about Kemet, the Kemetic people?
at which period?
The period of them migrating out, going into Ghana, because they have went into Ghana.
Okay, so
My
look,
brother Shaka Utmost showed that.
yeah, the Kemetic priests went all over the world from Atlantis first. Then they set up Kemet. They set up some of the Tibetan temples. The temple priests is what they call. And all around the world where you had great temples, you had temple priests. Right now, we looking at the marvel of the ancient builders and never knowing that that was us back then before we lost our memory. This is all in the prophecy too. This is all in the pyramid text that we would lose our memory and we would have to learn things by writing it down.
Right.
It's
Okay.
called the great Yuga cycles. This is the
Right.
sleep
Apostle,
cycle, Kali Yuga.
can you can you turn on your camera? Let me see who you are in the back, and you can turn it off. But I need y'all to turn on your cameras. Turn on your camera if you want to come in. Yes, Apostle. What's up, brother? You got a question for brother Rod?
You
Um,
don't mute.
you're on mute, Apostle.
You know why I got my camera off, man? I'm
Right. Go
laying in
ahead. Turn it
bed.
off, cause yeah, the power.
Right. I should have my computer by Tuesday.
Okay. Go ahead, brother.
Yeah. Um, I wanted to ask him, did he hear about the seances that Abraham Lincoln used to have in the White House? You say he used to communicate with his dead son.
Hmm.
I read about that in some of your cult writings. It's not common mainstream information, and most people don't know about it. But I've read about it.
Yeah, well, that's shocking that most people don't know about it because I know about it. But, first of all, I don't believe it's true that you're able to do that. I don't think people from the grave are able to communicate with people on this side. So, but that's just for me. But I know Casey. Uh, I don't know his first name,
Edgar
but
Casey.
uh,
Come on, Edgar Casey, the sleeping prophet.
Edgar Casey. Yeah, yeah, he's supposed to have been involved in stuff like that also,
Now
right?
hold on, Apostle. Don't y'all talk to your ancestors of the
No,
prophets of the
sir.
Bible? Or y'all don't give praise to the spirit of the ancestors or nothing like that?
No, sir. We praise Yahweh and Yahweh alone.
Oh, okay. Okay, I got you.
Now we venerate the Son as King, but we praise the Most High. We glorify the Most High in the name of the Son.
All right, I got you.
So that's
Now,
different.
brother Rod, what can you say to convince this elder brother that he is the most high that he's
Nothing.
trying to
Nothing.
praise? Yeah, you think he's too
That's
old?
true.
Mhm. Look, now that he's too old, right?
Hmm.
And it's not my place to change his mind. It's his place to change his mind upon the discovery of new information that may alter how you view the old. That's
That's
not
the
my job.
key. Yeah, that's the key right there.
He
But you
he
know
is,
what?
he got a
You
right.
said it. You said it
Hold on, Paul.
earlier that some of us are locked in. Like when you get into the religion, you're already locked in. So therefore, you shut down any new information that may contradict what what you're taught. So it just shuts it down, and therefore, no new information can get in. You see?
But side that doesn't apply to me, brother, because I have shown that I'm
Excuse me.
able to change and evolve with information. The simple fact that I'm no longer a Christian shows that. And I did that uh in 2000 in like
But
2015
but you're
after being
Israelite.
in the
You're a
church
Israelite.
after
Same
being in the
thing.
church for 40 something years.
Yeah, but it's the same thing. Hebrew
It's
Israelite.
not the same thing. It is
Okay.
not the same thing.
All right. Let's hear from Brother Rob.
So everybody got a right. This is their right from their creator to believe
Hmm.
whatever they want to, no matter if I think it's delusional or you think it's delusional. If it's rational and it can give them the life that they want, they got the right to believe whatever they want to. It's not my job or responsibility to convince anybody of anything. If he listen and he go do some research based on some of the stuff I said, and he feel like that I gave him some information that can allow him to grow and evolve into something else, that's his personal choice. It's not my place. For one, out of my respect for the elder, I wouldn't try to tell him what to do or what to think. He'd been on here planning longer than me. So I can only tell him what my experience and my learning has led me to understand. And then he have a right to either challenge it or say that brother can believe what he want to believe, but I don't believe it. That's up to him. That's his call. He can come, he can tell us his portion of understanding the same as I can come tell you mine. Mine not more important than his. He is not more important than mine. Somebody might listen to him that might get something that they couldn't get from me. So we still need to hear what he have to say. Right? So this is how I feel. Right? So he come up and he want to exchange, Q&A, ask a question or something. I don't mind. Because he don't never have to believe nothing I say.
Right.
He got that right as an individual.
All right. Let's move on over. Nepal Shada. Nepal Shada. Next on the call.
Oh, sorry, I was muted. Peace, Son Editor. Thank you for letting me up. Peace to Apostle and, of course, our illustrious guest, Rod Hayes.
You
I
just
have
trying to
a
make me
lot to
blush.
talk to you. What'd you say?
You
What'd you
just
say?
trying to make me blush.
No. Actually, I got to get you to come to my channel, please, because I am actually a thanatologist and I don't say death doula, but a transition doula. And this time of year is like every year I always talk about how this, because I want to hand this over to you because I know you know about it. How this time of year is like the quieting down. I call it the dying time, but it's actually winter is a full-fledged death, so-called death, but we're really transitioning. So during this time, you talked about the veil. I like how you talked about it as a in the speaking of a bride. I have two questions for you. I
Hmm.
want you to talk more about how the seasons, the veil is thinner during this time and during the seasons. And I want to talk to you about a video that I dropped in the back. I want you to hit the link and look at it later. It's about electrical devices contacting other realms. So, I got to jump in here and throw everything at you. I'm sorry, because I want you to first address the dying time, the seasons, and then talk about how these electrical devices have actually originally been created to be mediums. All right, now I'll mute out and listen.
So the cycles of weather, the weather indicates the cycles. We call the wintertime the death period because in the northern hemisphere, when the seasons change, the trees go into a state of almost death when they lose their leaves, right? And we're using this as a frame of reference as we move through the cycles on Earth. And you just like you have cycles of life, you have the Earth have cycles too. And the seasons mark the cycles of the Earth. Winter, commonly known as Scorpio season, Scorpio being the keeper of the death records, right? So it's the Reaper energy. And you show you the Grim Reaper, quintessential Scorpio energy, the death energy, the death card in the tarot deck, Scorpio, right? So we talking the winter season, no vegetation is growing in the winter. The earth is in a state of death. But then come spring is called resurrection season because that which was dead restores back to life. So now you know why we venerated the equinoctial days of the year, right? And those are to mark the cycles that brings the change of the weather, but it's also related to the cycles of the life of people. Is for what was the other question, sweetie? Did I
Yeah,
answer that
thank
with
you so
sufficient?
much. No, you did awesome on that. I've been asking Sonetter to let me sit down with you since you hit the panel the first time. I would like to do something with you where you can really go in depth about that because Um, you you covered the first part of it perfectly. What about how people, because you see Halloween, can you talk about that? How they're like, they know not just Halloween, but with the Mexican culture, there's the all say the Dia de los Muertos, like the Day of the
Mhm.
Dead. Is Can you tell the people how that is significant to like contacting spirits? Like, is the veil thinner during this time? Talk to us, please.
So, the Day of the Dead, commonly known as Cinco de Mayo, is an ancient Atlantean ancestral celebration that's still being practiced. Halloween was an ancestral celebration that was commonly held on the pumpkin harvest. And you also have other similar ceremonies in Jamaica and Haiti, Dominican Republic, St. Lucia, St. Croix. All of these islands practice a similar ceremonial worship of the ancestors. The geography, meaning where they at on the planet, determines the energy that's going to affect when it's going to be traditional for them to carry on those ceremonies. And those ceremonies was always a veneration of the ancestors and recognition of them and an energy exchange. This is why they have all of those distorted faces, what they call death faces, because those death faces is how when you in meditation a lot of time the ancestors will come to you with those shocking imagery in your psyche, but they still a physical projection to your mind. So when you see them, you might see them as grotesque because you're looking at the spirit realm from the physical world with the mind's eye. And so we do those celebrations so that we always energetically in tune with the frequencies that our ancestors were on. It's like a community tuning fork for ancestral energies. And a lot of us practice the ancestral venerations in secret,
All right,
but
thank you
that's
so
the
much.
public display.
Awesome. Now I have asked you about the I've done some research on let's say Edison. Edison, when he started trying to do these different inventions, like the electrical things he's doing, working with the television. Well, not exactly the television, but basically working with electricity and all these different technical devices. He was working as a spiritualist first to try to contact other realms. Now, and I'm sure a lot of people know, remember when we had the radio and you could tune it to where it's just like there's no real transmission?
Yeah, static
Yeah,
channel.
static, right. And remember the TV? You could turn the TV and you could see just the static. I'm laughing because you know what I'm talking about.
Hmm.
So, talk to us about how those devices were created to contact other realms and how they are used today. Can you do that for us?
Yeah, so a lot of, like you said, Edison was a spiritualist, but he ain't invent jack. He had a brother that was his apprentice, or supposed to be, but I think he was the
Tesla.
apprentice that was
Tesla.
creating everything. Tesla came, but Tesla was doing a different research. He did work with Edison for a while, and they big falling out was when Tesla tried to give everybody free energy, and what became Edison Power Company sabotaged it. But that's a whole nother story. A lot of the early inventors was getting this information through opening up channels in the psyche to download ancestral information. Nothing new under the sun. Everything that you think is a new invention is ancient. And so because it's all ancient, you just have to tap into the ancestral memory to download how to recreate it. This when if you go back to Tesla, he's a good example because he used what's called holographic design, where he can use his mind to assemble and disassemble an entire invention before he ever built the first piece. Right? They learned all of this stuff from shamans, tapping into the certain energy. If you look at Sigmund Freud, he got all these African artifacts. If you go follow Carl Jung, he's going over studying with priests from all over the world. So they giving them occult information that they using to create innovations by tapping spiritual energies that's natural to the planet.
All right. All right.
Thank
All
you so
right.
much. Can I just ask one more question?
Go
And
ahead.
this is about the Bible. Those who are saying, I heard some people, they get nervous when we talk about these things. I appreciate this topic. Are you familiar with the Urim and the Thummim that the priest of the Bible used, Mr. Hayes, Rod Hayes? And if so, was that also something used to contact spirit? Well, I know they say it's used to contact the Most High, but wasn't there an element, or how do you say, from what I've seen in the Bible, the priests were contacting the Most High with devices, and they were also casting lots and looking at the entrails of animals. Is that not true that happened also with the so-called Israelites?
Well, you got to remember the Israelites come from Jacob, right? Jacob is the son of Ish, um Esau. Jacob is
Isaac.
the son of
Isaac.
Isaac. Isaac was Abraham's son. According to the Bible, he was about to sacrifice him for a blood offering on an altar, right?
Yeah.
So then you had Joseph, who was one of the sons of Israel, who was known as the dreamer, meaning he's told his brothers that he can divine, or nachash, he can whisper. That means he can speak a thing into existence. So all of the sorcery is all through the Bible, but they villainize it to the people, so the people won't never use it to harness their true power. They'll always rely on the preacher to tell them how to live their life instead of living their life fearlessly on their own.
Thank you. I appreciate that statement. Okay, I'm going to sit back and listen to that. Like I said, I would love to have you sit down with me and go in depth about a lot of things that you talk about. If you're willing, I'll get in touch with you through Sonetta, of course. So thank you for answering those questions, and I appreciate
Sonetta, real quick, let me drop something to Brother Hayes in that Romans 4:17, um, speaking about Abraham and speaking about God, the Bible says that he said that God called things that be not as though they are. So in other words, that's what you're talking about, is speaking things into existence. And then in Romans, I believe it's 4:13, it says, by that same spirit we speaketh, and therefore we believe. So we have the same power that's working on the inside of us. The apostles had it. They could speak things into existence. So yeah, uh, we call those things that be not as though they are. Romans 4:17.
All right,
That's all I
Apostle.
wanted to say.
One of the questions I wanted to ask you, Rod, is that I forgot, but I'm looking at it now behind my page, and that is witches. Are witches real? And have you ever seen one or a few? Talk to us about the witches.
All the word witch mean is wise woman.
Okay, say that again. Wise woman.
Wise woman. That's what
Mm,
witch means.
go ahead.
And
Excuse me. I was married to one for 15 years. Yeah.
All right, Apostle.
A
If it,
witch. Yes. I was married to one
now,
for
hold on,
15 years.
Apostle. You against witches, though, right?
Yes, I am.
All right, but it only means wise woman, bro.
No. She used power. Her father, Listen.
No. We'll get back to you on the next one.
Okay.
Let Rod
All
break it
right.
down. And then you can get in. Go ahead, brother Rod. Witches. Have you ever came in contact with a
I
few
know a
of
lot
these
of them.
witches? Go ahead. Talk to us.
I
What
know a
is a
lot of
witch?
a witch is a wise woman, but the implication is they are a woman that use various forms of spellcraft and divination. The spellcraft and divination is basic training for any priest. You couldn't have a exorcist in the Catholic Church if he wasn't skilled in the art of spell casting and spell breaking. This is what he's working on. All of the priests around the world, the Buddhists, they're not even really a religion, but they priests also have methods of breaking spells and casting spells. These wise women that's being villainized is like the oracles of Delphi, the daughters of Isis, right? The sisters of Eve. Those are the daughters of Lilith. These women were the wise women of the world. If you can't usurp the divine feminine if you don't villainize the most powerful of the feminine energy.
Go ahead. Break it down.
Once you villainize it, every harlot now is classified as a witch, but she don't deserve the title. Right? And remember, the force is neither good nor bad. It's your intention. You can have a wise, rotten bitch. Right? That means that she got all of the wisdom, but she used it corruptly.
Mm. Mm.
Right? She used it. You're not supposed to use your power to undermine God's purpose for another person. This is what
Not just
Hollywood did.
women, though. Excuse me.
Yo, apostle, man. Don't do that, brother. Please,
This is
man.
what the entertainment world is doing with these rituals is they are taking the gift that God gave somebody and they turning it into an economic resource by usurping the beauty that these entertainers are supposed to bring into our life by corrupting the entertainers behind the scenes. Casting couch, right? You can't rise in this system unless you sacrifice something of great value. Your manhood, your womanhood, your children, your mama. We don't believe in that shit. But the people that's running the show believe in it. So you might think they joking until they take your mama, your child, your sister, your brother, because they come
Now,
in to get their blood.
when you say until they take, you talking about mentally, of course. Until
Mm-mm.
they take them.
Physically,
Oh, physically.
yeah,
Oh, wow.
they
So
will murder.
the Israelites put such a demonic character on witches. They say these women are evil, these women are bad, and they could be, like you said, some of the most beautiful, righteous sisters. But because they are identified as witches, it's like they automatically look at them and say these are not. This is not good for us. Why do you
They,
think that is?
because of the historical connection to, okay, go back to the Bible and you got the story of the necromancers calling spirits from the dead on behalf of the king and all of that. And these were most of the time they were women
Hmm.
because they have the ability to tap into information in the Akashic records by riding the mitochondria. The whole thing, I don't really want to get into the Hebrew Israelites.
Right, right,
You know, they got a right to believe what they want. It don't got nothing to do with me though.
right.